Well, good morning, friends. I think we'll come to order now. Nice to see everybody. Hope you had a great weekend. The Halifax Regional Municipality is located in Mi'kma'ki, the ancestral and traditional lands of the Mi'kmaq people, and the municipality acknowledges the peace and friendship treaties signed in this territory and recognizes that we are all treaty people. And we're meeting today for the Executive Standing Committee. It's December 16th, and it's 10 a.m., and let's get cracking. So we're going to start with the approval of the August 26, 2024 minutes, and I'll ask members if there are any. I see Councillor Deagle-Gammon, please. Was that a motion? Okay, thank you very much. Are there any deletions or additions or alterations? There's a seconder. Okay. I'm not seeing any hands up for corrections, so let's have the question. And this is done by show of hands, members, so if I could just see a show of hands in favor. And the motion passes and the minutes are adopted. Now we'll move on to the order of business. Mr. Clerk, are there any additions?
There are no additions or deletions for this meeting today from the clerk's office.
Okay, thank you. And from members, any additions or deletions? Seeing none, may I have a motion to adopt the order of business? In a seconder, please. Okay, Councillor Hartling. Thank you very much. And let's have the question, shall the order of business carry? All in favor? Motion passes, very good. And we are going to move now to call for declaration of conflicts of interest. Are there any members that would like to declare a conflict today? Seeing none. We'll move through, slow me down if you'd like to, but I think we're going to move right on to 10.1, which is correspondence. And Mr. Clerk, is there any correspondence for
No correspondence is received for this meeting.
Okay, thank you. Mr. Clerk, are there any petitions to be presented today?
There have been no petitions received for this meeting.
Okay, I'll ask the same of members. Any petitions from members? Okay, very good. Okay, we're at 11, public participation. We will this is the moment in the meeting where members of the public are able to speak for 5 minutes. So I'm going to ask 3 times if anyone in the gallery would like to come forward. Would anyone in the gallery? No? Practice your Christmas karaoke? This is a good moment for that. No? Okay. So I see no members of the, I'm going to ask a 3rd time. Any members of the public in the gallery? I don't see any, so we'll move on to any information items. I believe none. And let's get right into 13.1 staff. 13.1.1 proposed 2025 meeting schedule. And Mr. Clerk, I'll turn it over to you at this point.
Mayor Fillmore and members of Executive Standing Committee, you have your proposed agenda schedule in front of you today. This is based off of historic meeting schedule timelines and is consistent with other Executive Standing Committee schedules from previous years. You will note we have 1 month without a scheduled meeting in July. That is consistent and can be added, and special meetings can be added at any point in time if they were requested.
Sorry, Councillor Cuttle has moved the motion to adopt the staff report. Would anyone like to discuss the staff report? Is there a second? There's Councillor White with a second. And could I see a show of hands of all those in favor of adopting the calendar? The calendar is adopted. Very good. We'll move now to 13.1.2, Executive Standing Committee Councillor Nominations and Appointments. And I'll ask Annie Sherry to come on down.
Good morning, Mayor and councillors. So this morning we are looking to nominate councillors to 3 different advisory committees. The Accessibility Advisory Committee, the African Descent Advisory Committee, and the Women and Gender Equity Advisory Committee. All councillors who are interested in, who indicated interest in these committees were sent an email to let them know that if they would like to attend today's meeting to speak to their nomination, they were welcome to do so. They were also provided the opportunity to respond by email to indicate whether they would like to remove their name from the ballot. No responses were received to remove names. So we will proceed with assuming that all councillors who were initially indicating interest would like to be considered. And if any information changes after folks have been nominated, that can be rectified at the regional council meeting in January, where the appointments will be made.
Let's get the motion on the floor, and then we can have some discussion. Does that sound like the proper thing we want to do? Can I ask for a councillor to put it on the floor? I think I see Deputy Mayor Manzini, please.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I'll put the following motion on the floor that the Executive Standing Committee 1 nominate up to 3 councillors for appointment of the Halifax Regional Council to serve on the Accessibility Advisory Committee for the term to November 2026. 2, nominate 2 councillors for appointment by Halifax Regional Council to serve on the African Descent Advisory Committee for a term to November 2026. And 3, nominate 2 councillors for the appointment of Halifax Regional Council to serve on the Women and Gender Equity Advisory Committee for a term to November 2026. So moved.
Okay, and I think I see the seconder. Thank you. Seconder from Councillor Deagle Gammon. And I would welcome any discussion we can crack into this. Why don't we start with the Accessibility Advisory Committee? It's the only one that will require some discussion because there are more applicants than positions, but anyone would like to start?
I just have a comment. I mean, as Annie said, she invited folks that have expressed interest to come forward or remove the name and didn't get a response either way. So now we have more than 3. So how do we choose unless somebody around the chambers has had a conversation with somebody? I mean, how do we rightfully choose?
Has anyone had a conversation with any of the members on this list? Councillor White?
I sent an email to see people's interest, but I'm not super up to date on my email. The only one I can remember receiving is Councillor Morris was no longer interested. Is that?
Reduced by 1?
Yep.
Getting there. Yeah.
Yep. That's.
And Councillor White, your interest stands?
More than the other ones on today's list. I'll say that. Yep.
Okay, thank you. Well, if I read the tea leaves, we're looking to draw 2, 2 in addition to Councillor White. And that would, we're choosing from Purdy, Hinch, and Saint Amand. And the next 2 as well, Deagle Gammon and Steele. And of course, Councillor Deagle Gammon is here, and I see Deputy Mayor, you're on the list, and then followed by Councillor White.
So I'll nominate Councillor White to the Accessibility Advisory Committee.
Okay, very good. Would you like us? Who would like to second that? Okay, Councillor Deagle Gammon, and then we'll go to you, Councillor.
So I've been on the Accessibility Advisory Committee now for 4 years, and I think that it's a really good experience for other councillors as well. So I had put in as 3rd, but seeing that there are others with the 1st and 2nd choice, I really think that we should go with them. Thanks.
Okay, thank you very much. When I look at the other 2 meetings for which we're trying to find nominees today, I see Councillor Hinch's name on both. So could I suggest we eliminate Councillor Hinch from consideration for accessibility, and that would leave us with 3? Okay. That's wise. Okay. Would someone like to please nominate then Councillors Purdy and Saint Amand? I see Councillor Hartling, please. And then seconder for those 2 nominations? Councillor Young, thank you very much. All right, we've got, yes, Councillor White.
My question is just noticing the language in the motion and why does it seem optional for this committee and other committees?
Option for the 3rd.
Well, it says up to 3. Is there maybe any answer to that question. Yeah.
Thank you through the mayor to the councillor. This is just how the terms of reference are written for this committee. So this would be one of the discretionary committees that folks would have applied for on their, or would have indicated interest in on their expression of interest forms. Some committees have very explicitly X amount of councillors. Some of them provide some wiggle room there. This is one of those committees that says up to 3, so 3 or under.
Councillor White, please.
So what if no one was on the committee? I'm just trying to understand it. Well, I guess maybe do we need to update the terms of reference or what? Or we do. Okay, we need to update the terms of reference, and I would just comment that it'd be good to go with this 3, and then we can change it, like Annie said, later at council.
And Mayor Fillmore, through you to the councillor, as Annie was mentioning, it is the verbiage from the terms of reference, but also with the Accessibility Advisory Committee, there is a bit of a different relationship on this lived experience than some of the others. Accessibility is also the only legislatively required lived experience committee, so there's some different parameters and different legislation we have to work in through around that as well.
All right, well, we've got motions on the floor for all 3 nominations. Can we take care of those in a single vote, Mr. Clerk?
Mayor Fillmore, we can. Did we get nominations for the African Descent Advisory Committee and Women and Gender as well?
No,
Okay.
I'm only focusing on accessibility.
So we do have accessibility. We have all of those nominated, and
Okay.
with the motions on the floor as is, we can probably just do 1 vote if we get those other 2 done.
Okay. Oh, a single vote for all 3 committees. That's great. Okay, let's move on to the African Descent Committee then. Similar, we were looking for 2 members, and I see 2 members listed there. Councillor Hinch and Councillor Young. Would someone like to nominate the 2 councillors, please? Councillor Cuddle. Thank you very much. And a seconder? Councillor Hartling. Okay, we've got our 2 nominees for African Descent Advisory Committee. And moving on then, with no objections, to Women and Gender Equity Advisory Committee. This is also, we're looking for 2 members here, and we see Councillor Hinch in the first position, and then Councillors Hartling and White in the second. Let's start with Councillor Hinch. Would someone like to nominate Councillor Hinch, please? I see Councillor Cuddle and a seconder, Councillor Deal-Gammon. And now, what is the pleasure of... Councillor White, would you like to nominate Councillor Hartling?
I would love to nominate Councillor Hartling for the
Okay.
Women and Gender
And
Equity Committee.
And who would second that motion? Councillor, I think I saw Councillor Young's hand up first there. Okay, we have a full slate of nominees for all 3 committees. Let's see a show of hands if we're all in favor of that slate. All in favor? And all appointments are made. Very good. Okay, bear with me now, going back to the agenda. Okay. Yeah, can I have a motion? We're on 15 in camera. Could I have a motion to go in camera? Well, sorry, go ahead, clerk. You don't need to go in camera to approve the... Okay, then. So that was a motion to approve the minutes, was it? Okay, and I saw 2 hands at once, but how about Councillor Deal-Gammon moves and Councillor Cuddle seconds? Yes, indeed. And is there any discussion? Councillor Cuddle?
No
okay.
discussion. Usually, I'm used to putting the motion on the floor, but I guess that's chair's discretion that we just don't need to put the motion on the floor. Okay, we don't need to put it on the floor. When I said so moved. That's it. Great.
We're cooking. Okay, all in favor? Very good. Minutes are adopted. Number 17, notices of motion. Members, are there any notices of motion today? Seeing none, shall we set the date of the next meeting? The next meeting is scheduled for January 24th, 2025 at 10 a.m. here in the council chamber. It was a show of hands on that one if we all agree, or we already approved that. So we're just letting everybody know. Okay. Well, my dear colleagues, is there a motion to adjourn? Councillor Cuddle. Very good. Well done today. Yeah.